This is going to be a look at some Ravens defensive film. I've done a lot of offensive videos in the offseason as the 2021 regular season ended. I've had some requests from people on my Patreon and online to do more defense videos, which is kind of unusual. I'm a defensive guy. I'm a defensive person. It's what I tend to see first in terms of watching the game. So for me to have swayed so far in the other direction to do so much or maybe too much offensive film is fascinating for me, and for my friends who know me well. So in any case, the first one I'm going to take a look at is the first two possessions of Week 5 against the Colts. On my other YouTube channel, I did do a lengthy study of our defense in that week, and of course it was quite disappointing early. Maximum effort late, and some great things, obviously culminating with the field goal block by Calais Campbell. Great execution. Maybe I'll do a one-play video of that if people are interested in seeing me break that down. This is going to be the first possession. It's a short one. Obviously, it culminates with a screen pass for a touchdown. The video is kind of weird here for a moment. First down play, Ravens are in their base. Defensive personnel appear to be playing some type of cover 3. Tyus Bowser's dropping out into the flats to the boundary. Got a curl flat defender here, 2 hook curl defenders, deep third, and then the middle of the field, free safety here. We're playing cover 3. Justin Houston does his patented move whereby he takes an inside pass rush lane first, early in the game. Houston is here. He does this a lot, in at least 3 or 4 games last year. He's taken an inside. Actually, kind of bull rushed this guy, if I remember correct. But he's not establishing the speed rush early like some other pass rushers do. He's kind of being a little more physical, taking an inside rush lane. He did that against Cincinnati twice in the first 3 plays. Really gave their left tackle trouble early in the game, and then we kind of stopped rushing him and moved him around to the left side for whatever reason. Tyus Bowser being real physical with his hands, something that's just consistent with him. He gets one hand on this first tight end, it's 12 personnel, and then he's being real physical with this second tight end, which is Doyle, the guy that took the cheap shot on Tavon Lloyd later on, drawing a penalty on Lloyd. So first down play, a lot of pressure. Justin Houston gets to the quarterback. Second down play, 11 personnel now. So we have our nickel defense on the field. You will hear me constantly refer to it as our 4-2 nickel. That's just your standard nickel defense, your 4-2. The 4 down linemen, even though Houston and Owe might be outside linebackers in our 3-4 structure, in a nickel situation, they're just it's a 4-2. If you were to take another inside backer, if you were to take Bynes, Queen, and Harrison and put them on the field, what would you call this defense? You wouldn't call it a 2-5, you call it a 4-3. The people who refer to it as a 2-4, that's just not what anyone calls it. It's a 4-2-5. 5 DBs on the field. One thing we had a lot of trouble with was coverage from our inside linebackers. This isn't bad. It's not awful. We're playing man on this running back out into the flats. This guy's usually assigned to run a screen on this defender to try to pick him and prevent him from getting out there. Sometimes he'll run in and then vertical, or stem this to the inside to try to replace him, try to replace this inside linebacker who's presumably playing man. You can see that Harrison goes way over the top. This receiver can't get there in terms of a pick or a screen. Wentz is reading that. So what Wentz was trying to figure out was if Harrison goes underneath, then Taylor's going to turn this up the field. If he turns up the field, then Wentz has got to hold the football for a moment and then throw it a split second later than he does here. As it is, Harrison goes over the top, so this is a now throw. Throw it now because the opening is right now. Taylor happens to drop the football. Harrison's slightly late there. I'm not offering you that it's horrible coverage. Some people choose to go over the top. Some people choose to go under. I would say to you that maybe we should just be playing zone on the backside here, 3 over 2. But to basically force them, quarterback, to read it and not throw it initially anyway. So if we zone this, then Marlon Humphrey is going to run with what presumably would become a wheel route by that running back. And Harrison is going to play on the inside leverage of 1, and then Chuck Clark's going to help combo or tandem him, late. That's the idea that, playing zone on that backside of trips. In any case, let's get to the third play, which we know is a touchdown. 3rd and long. The first play I didn't show you was a false start by their left tackle. The screen, really bad. I don't like the way that we dealt with some of these formations early in games. We thought we were better than we were, honestly, even as we had injuries. Look, there's no inside linebackers on the field. Bowser, I think Houston, Owe, Stevens, and then McPhee and Calais Campbell. Not a really good group of football players. But as this develops, as this screen develops over here, first of all, Bowser rushes and lets the back cross his face, which is unusual. Tyus Bowser is an extremely unique, aware, savvy, and balanced football player. I suspect that he's supposed to have peel, which means if this back peels out to the flats, someone's got to go with him. Can't just let him run out to the flats, catch the football, and then now there's zero inside-out pursuit from the second level. I'm not talking about Chuck Clark. He's coming from the third level of the defense. Level 1, D linemen, outside linebackers. Level 2, inside linebackers, maybe a nickel safety. Level 3, your safeties and whatever DBs are playing, deep coverage. So 3 levels to the defense. We get no inside-out pursuit from the second level because we don't have a second level. We don't have any inside linebackers on the field. We're just too aggressive. Clark is dropping down to be a second-level player late, but it's a bad angle. One of the things that Wink's defense did, unfortunately, besides being really aggressive, it actually opened up wider gaps and wider seams sometimes, like is illustrated here. This is the end of the first possession. You can see there's just nobody to pursue there from an inside out. Purnell looks injured, if you ask me. Looks like he's running on 1.5 legs. Great effort by Averett. Any case, we're down 7-0. Second possession, I think it's 3 plays, 72 yards or something. We have to punt on our second possession, give them the football back. Their second possession is going to culminate with a fumble, so we get a forced fumble turnover. But their second possession is like 11 plays, 64 yards. So you're talking about 14 plays and like 134 yards, something like that if I did my math right. I actually really like the design of this play from them. It's empty. And what they've got is they've got Patrick Queen soloed up on a running back. They're going to bring the running back down in motion pre-snap, and he's going to run across underneath a drag. Queen's going to have to go over the top of one screen, and then I think go underneath the second one. He may go over top of both of them. I'll bring it back so you can see what I mean. Well-designed screens, rub concepts or pick concepts. Well-designed ones are going to give you 2. Okay, so they're going to give you 2 screens. Not a screen pass like they just scored on, but 2 picks to go over or under. So this first one, Queen is going to go over the top of. And the well-designed ones give you the first one to go over top of, and the second one to go underneath of. It's impossible. Play man, you cannot keep up with it. You can see, hopefully you can see what I mean. He went over top of this screen, and then now he's going underneath of this one. This route is entirely designed to pick him. This is a design play, a schemed up play, the type of things that we don't do for Lamar. Not that often, at least the types of things. And now let's go large scale on that. Well, other teams don't play predictable coverages like we do. So when you're entirely predictable and you give away your coverage by walking the inside backer out there over the running back, everyone and their mother knows that it's man. So if they didn't have this play called, Carson Wentz could quickly audible to it with whatever the one word play call is to make everybody understand what they're running. So, in any case, I digress a little bit. Base personnel here. The video gets a little wonky, so forgive me for that. A pretty good job by Stevens from the third level of coming up and trying to force this inside. What I would say is a really good job by Bowser on the edge. Not a great job by Queen. I thought Queen struggled in this game specifically. Check out Bowser. So Bowser gets back and engages. He gets across the line of scrimmage, so he penetrates, gets across the line of scrimmage, takes on an offensive lineman. The running back bounces it, so now he's got to run down the line of scrimmage and along with the force player, try to make a play and limit the gain. I think it's like a 3-yard gain, maybe 4. Let's call it a 3-yard gain. Nice play by Bowser. Good job by Stevens. Not as clean by Queen, if you ask me. At least taking on the block. We'd like to see him be a little more aggressive, a little more downhill, and you get another example of that later. Going to make sure this video isn't too long. 11 personnel here, twin slot. So when I call it twin slot, if you're interested in personnel stuff, I have a lot of it on my Patreon, on the database that I'm creating. That's the twins portion of this. And then slot is, a tight end or an H-back in the slot, being the number 2 receiver. Doesn't have to be a condensed formation by this X. He can be over here. But twin slot is typically an 11 personnel formation. And we have trouble fitting this. Patrick Queen and Malik Harrison are really, really unsure of who's supposed to be lined up where. Watch them switch sides once, and then Queen goes to switch sides again or something. I don't know. Queen does slap the guard off of him, or maybe it's not a guard, maybe it's a center. You see him, he's in the middle of slapping this lineman off of him now. Harrison is going to have to then deal with that lineman working up to him and unable to now put his foot in the ground and jump back inside and make a tackle. Actually, he hardly touches this running back. Queen doesn't touch it. We really struggled at inside linebacker in this game, specifically early on. We roll Clark up. The problem is we've got this huge gap for Harrison to have to deal with, right? So it's virtually impossible for him to do that. One of the things that happened was many times last year, we weren't well coordinated. So Chuck is going to roll up on this motion. So you've got a force player. You can do things whereby Houston actually lets himself get reached. So then that what it will do is it'll allow the inside linebacker to gap exchange with Houston. I'm not sure if those lines are drawn well. I need a mouse that has two different color lines. But as it is, Clark is outside leverage. Houston's also expanded. So we've created this huge gap for them to run through. Also, and I think you'll see this later on in this video, Tavon Young is spinning down, and there's going to be, natural boot flow by the quarterback. Someone on their coaching staff saw nobody was with the boot because Tavon's eyes were back here the whole time. And they do run the boot later on. I think it's a boot screen. I'm being a little harsh on Patrick Queen in some cases, but he definitely got better after this game. So, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Actually, it's the very next play. Attacking us in our cover 3. They know it's zone, bringing the running back into the boundary. That's why they're back into the backfield. That's why they're doing that. I think, number one, Stevens is too far this way. He needs to be, if you ask me, his feet need to be a little bit further out here. So maybe he could help redirect this number 1 receiver, and he could help Averett out, number 1. Number 2, Averett is zone turning. So he's got his butt pointed towards the sideline and his chest pointed towards the middle of the field. That's a zone turn. And then he gets turned around by the X receiver. He's really concerned about this vertical, and I'm not sure why. He's really concerned about this vertical, and he's not in a position to make. They attacked him later on, though, so they recognized that that's something he struggles with. They attacked him later on. If you remember the first drive of the third quarter, they attacked Averett twice on very, very similar routes here. Not a bad job by Queen and Harrison in the middle of the field. Really. They're not in bad relationship here at all. Let's move on to the next play. I'll skip the end zone angle. $11 personnel again. They've made some kind of check. You can see these two guys communicating to each other just after Wentz said something to them. Really cool design on this one, but a great job by Tyus Bowser, if you ask me. I'd like to see Queen come a little more downhill. So let's talk. So here's Bowser, and here's Queen. Run it back a couple of times. I'd like to see Queen attack this. Like, does he engage the blocker? Well, yeah, because the blocker's working up to him. I'd like to see him blow this guy up. I don't feel like I just feel like that's really poor. He's giving up his chest. Look at the pad level that the tight end or the H-back has. We used to, I'll show you the end zone angle. We used to talk about, knock it back. Whoever wins in this area here, whoever knocks the other guy back a yard. In the NFL, you probably don't knock people back 2 or 3 yards because everyone's equivalent athletically or close to each other. But knock him back at least a half a yard. Watch how Bowser plays this. They're expanding this tackle outside to try to get Bowser to react like it's a reach block or a screen to that side. But Bowser's got his pressure key, which is the tackle, and then his visual key, which means he's looking inside while his hands are engaging that tackle. That's called a pressure key and a visual key at the same time. You get a better view of it from the end zone angle. You also get a better view of what I believe is Queen hesitating and not attacking in a violent fashion. But look, 3 times in the Cleveland game at home later in the year, he attacked like this and blew blockers up. So he did get better. All right. So if anyone watches this, it's a Patrick Queen fan or relays things to Patrick Queen, like he did get way better. And he certainly reacts fast to things. He sees it right now. But you'd like to see him from here, not stop his feet right now. You can take this on in the center of his body, or Queen can use his right shoulder to take on the outer half of this tight end's body, which would basically, hopefully, condense this inside gap, make it small, so the running back has to do what? Bounce it outside to Bowser, who, again, has done a great job dealing with this fake screen/reach block by the tackle. His hands are out, eyes are in the backfield, stays on it. Great job. Other guys making plays too. If I'm missing elements to the plays, forgive me, but look, I'm trying to breeze through this and get it in under 20 minutes, which is not going to be. Run concept to the front side. Guess who does a great job on the edge? Tyus Bowser. It's kind of predictable at this point. We're playing, I think, a lag technique on this, a backdoor technique. We can probably do that because we've walked up the safety into the box, so it creates like a 5-3 look. I'll show you what I mean by lag or backdoor technique in a moment. Again, Queen, I just think, is not on this. He's not attacking downhill. Like, he's here. He's here now. He's got a good read. I just think he's got to attack and press downhill and not keep his toes, right around that yard line. He did advance forward 1 yard, but I'd like to see more violence and more commitment. Good read. He's powerful. He's an aggressive dude. He's explosive when he takes on blockers. He definitely got better as the year went on. I don't think our inside linebacker coach did him any favors. Backdoor technique, if you accept that this is intentional, meaning these two guys are playing on the back door. So these two would handle the back door and the front door. Back door is 96. Queen would thereby handle the front door. Same thing here with Ellis, back door, and then Harrison would handle the front door. As it works out, you've got a huge gap here and here. Queen is holding. That's the reason why Queen hesitates. He's not sure if he's going to get that, a bang, or to cut back through there, not recognizing that 96 is playing that gap. But Bowser does a great job. Team defense. You got motion. Same thing as 3 or 4 plays ago that I showed you when I talked about Tavon. So you got motion coming down here. So this is an adjustment I shouldn't say an adjustment, a reaction by their coaches to what they saw on film. Same exact thing. Tavon steps down, and his eyes are going to be in the backfield. Cool play, though, man. You get a snag route there, and then this guy working out into the flats. And Tavon is not helping Anthony Averett at all. And you can see Averett, number one, Averett has 2 guys to defend. He can't defend 2. Number 1. Number 2, the quarterback is out here on the edge booting free, clean. Tavon's out of position. And look, Tavon Young's one of my favorite football players on the team. I thought he had a great year last year, but this is poor awareness by him on motion away. At some point you got to be like, okay, there's motion away from him. Who is my most dangerous? So my most dangerous could be, you could have a running back like that. The same concept I drew up, that was from the second play, but to the opposite side. Once the running back crosses face, though, we got to have some awareness of someone, going against the grain, split flow, and we don't. When you get the end zone angle, you'll see Owe and Tavon are both playing the same thing. They're both playing the cutback. Owe is the OLB on this side. Normally, Owe stays square. Normally, he keeps his feet square, and then he'd be able to redirect late and at least be in the window to chase the quarterback down. He's more athletic and faster than every quarterback in the league. Well, because he plays for the Ravens, right? He doesn't face Lamar. But he normally stays square. He doesn't normally give up his chest, turn and give up his chest like this. That's number 1. And then also you see Tavon is focused in here, doesn't see the little brown leather football in the quarterback's hands, and he's not able to help Averett out. We were undisciplined a lot of times last year. If you've listened this long, you're interested in the Ravens defense. We were not disciplined. We were not. I do not think we were well coached. Again, play action concept. Now Houston, look at how Houston plays this versus how Owe played it. Got to run action away. Watch Houston bang Wentz and knock him into the ground. That's football. I love it. Ball's out. I don't care. Punish the quarterback for having the football and booting out to the edge. You've got to dissuade the other team's coaches from calling the play. Now, we don't do anything at the inside linebacker level at all to deal with these over routes. You get an over and an under route. They run kind of close together here and here. You got an under, and then which should be an over at somebody, queen or board. Somebody has got to recognize, the ball wasn't handed off. I've got to turn and run underneath of this route. Let's use this guy's route as a guide for board. Let's say board can't try to get to his hip because you've already lost ground. You've actually got to take a worse angle than that guy. Let me draw it up better than that. Sorry. Let's say this. Let's say this guy's going flat to that line right there. All right. This is kind of a little bit of a poor example. I'm not saying that he should cut it this abruptly, but if this guy's going with that line, he should not be in the same parallel line as him. He should undercut it a little bit to get in the window because he does not have a good angle already. He's already got the wrong read. If you've watched any of my videos about inside linebackers, on a play action, the offense is giving you a run action. You're going to see that as an inside backer. Whether you're reading the line, whether you're reading the offensive lineman or the back, they're all going to be working that way. They're all going to be giving you that run read. At some point, you got to recognize it. Turn your back to the quarterback and run underneath of these routes here. And Queen actually tries to dodge this tight end. He thinks the guy's trying to block him. He did get better later on in the year, to be honest with you. This was pretty bad. He dodges. He doesn't try to. He actually does dodge that tight end. If he made contact with him, that'd have been great. He would have disrupted his route. If you watch an inside linebacker video I put out about 2 weeks ago, you see Cunningham, when he got signed by the Titans, he actually dislodges a tight end, which is super awareness. Like, he knocks him off his route. The guy can't even get there. Houston making contact a little too late. Chuck Clark coming up at a good angle, taking him on with the inside shoulder. Give Board credit for getting involved in the tackle. All right, there is going to be a fumble here coming up soon, but we've got 2 minutes of video left. Split zone concept. Queen misses a tackle. Tyus Bowser clears up. I want you to see, Marlon Humphrey's telling Queen to wrap up, and actually it's the next play or 2 plays later. Marlon Humphrey misses a tackle. He does get pushed in the backfield. They move the tight end away. We go to an overfront, which if this is the tight end, an overfront is a 9 technique, a 3 to the tight end side. Brandon Williams will be in a 1, and this is a wide 5. And then 4-3 is an overfront. So essentially, you'd have a Mike, a Sam, and technically Bowser's playing the Will here, even though he did play Sam in college. What I do like is Bowser use of his hands, getting the O lineman working up to him. I think it's the right tackle. He's engaged. The running back, again, he's engaged with an offensive lineman, a huge, powerful man, but his eyes are looking at the football. There is a level of Tyus Bowser can execute multiple techniques, but there are certain things he does that are really underrated that you'll never hear national analysts talk about. I'm trying to point out as many of them as I can notice. Of course, I can't obviously notice everything either. But one thing I will say to finish this play, he's a great tackler. He's a great tackler. On running backs, on quarterbacks, he tackled Justin Fields twice last year, one-on-one. On tight ends, he's just a great player. I think Chris Board, reads this screen. Very similar to the first screen they ran. They're going to run one screen up here to the top side and then one to the bottom side as well. Board recognizes it quick. Comes downhill. We at least have 3 guys here to defend it. Marlon has defeated the blocker out on the edge, gets pushed in the back, and they do call the penalty. He missed the tackle. Board doesn't miss it. Third time early in this game that I have seen Brandon Williams, who has a reputation for only being good against the run, being able to redirect and then get back involved in the play and get involved in the tackle, even though he's a little late here. Nice play by Board. Last 2 plays that we got here. This video's going on a whole lot longer. RPO concept. Board shows really no awareness. Anytime you've got the back on your side, this is Board, and there's a running back, and there's whether it's a slot receiver or a number one. So what I mean by that is, let's pretend for a moment that this receiver's not there at all, and maybe he's over here on the other side, okay? Still, Board's got to have awareness. I got the back and someone tight to the formation. That's an RPO. If this guy's not here, it's not an RPO. You can't run an RPO from this wide, especially with a corner and a safety to that side. Then now you can go and attack the running back, because we've got two. We'd have 2 for 1 in terms of, again, this guy's not there. Act like he's not there. If number one receiver runs a slant, we've got 2 guys to defend that. You can now go and attack the running back. But since there is someone lined up tight, Board can't attack, depending on the coverage. If it's straight man and Chuck Clark's got him, then okay, fine. But I don't think it was. See Board here. Huge gap for Board to worry about, though. So if he doesn't step up in that and they do hand it off, then I'm sitting here second guessing him for not doing so. That's a great thing about the RPO concept, right? It's the same as option. No matter what you do, you can be wrong if it's read well and executed well. Last play, I think, is a forced fumble. Oh wait, it just explodes on people, man. Oh wait, he's kind of like Ivan Drago. Whatever he hits, he destroys. And, he does get a jump here. Is he offsides? I don't know. But I think he's in. I think I even read or heard about an interview where he talked about the snap count, and he knew the snap count. He knew how. And I'll show you one trick that we've used for certain centers. It doesn't work for everyone. It's a sack, force fumble by Owe. We get the ball back. So even though we played bad defense, we got a fortunate break there, but we made it happen with a great play by our rookie defensive end or outside linebacker. All right, we're going to talk about the knee of the center. I've seen this before. Probably only used it 2 or 3 times. Certain centers, if they were going to pick their head up, and then can't pump fake as a center, right? That'd be a false start. Certain centers, if the quarterback's going to do a hard count, when they pick their head up, they're not going to snap the ball until that knee has a power angle to generate enough force to snap the ball, in the opposite direction from what you're looking. So you don't really have a great angle over here, but there's a power angle there that his knee is bent at that it is not bent at now, obviously because his butt's high and the ball is low. So once he picks his head up, we have seen centers who don't get as good a knee bend until they're going to snap the football. And you would only find that out by watching a individual center 50, 60, 70 snaps and say, okay, I know when he's going to snap the ball. I don't know what Owe's key was. I don't suspect it was that, but I don't know how many of these type plays he had last year, these splash plays, these impact plays. Compare him to Patrick Queen. And I don't think he compares in a negative light to Queen at all. It's probably not a good comparison. But Queen made a lot of splash plays his rookie year. Fumble recoveries, sacks, forced fumbles. Owe had a number of impact plays as well, before finishing the year, I think, on the injured list. Anyway, this is a look at Ravens defense film. I'm going to try to keep these under 20 minutes. I know most of my videos lately are long form, longer content. This was only 2 possessions, so 28, 29 minutes is entirely too long. There were a lot of plays there, 14 plays. 14 plays to go over in 28 minutes, so 2 minutes per play. I got to cut that down some. This video reflects well on Tyus Bowser. Doesn't reflect well on our young inside linebackers at all, either 3 of them that you saw. Clearly, we got better when Josh Bynes was inserted in the starting lineup. I've covered that well. Many other people have too. Didn't really show Tavon Young being real disciplined either, but we know Tavon Young was a heck of a football player last year and had a great year. I didn't talk about coverage a ton. I thought we were taken advantage of on the first and second levels by the Colts. I didn't think they really abused I thought they attacked our inside linebackers. I thought they attacked our strong safeties, our nickel DBs. I didn't think they attacked our corners that much, except for the deeper out that you saw against cover 3, against Anthony Averett, which they went back to a couple of times later on in the game. Let me know what you guys think of these type of videos. Looking at defense, I'd like to do a handful more of these in the offseason because we're trying to watch as much film as possible. We know the defense is going to be different from a fundamental standpoint, from a coverage standpoint, and from what they're being taught Monday through Saturday. Let me know what you guys think of the video in the comment section.